right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. It's great having you here. Let me start with a small introduction to the form of this presentation. So if you go to Twitter and you search for slideless, you see there's a hashtag for that, and it's about slideless presentations. So I think we are a generation of slides. Everyone spends a lot of time preparing slides, reading slides, sharing slides. And there's this movement that's called slideless. And I believe in this movement, which says basically, if you walk out of this presentation, you should be able to reproduce what I just did without looking at the slides. So if you don't remember after me and my colleague here, what we were talking about, you wouldn't really go back and check our slides. But if you remember key terms, just go search for it. So if you go to the schedule of the Jenkins world, you see, and you search for us, you see that we are talking today about how to build Alexia skills with Jenkins. And with that, I would like to introduce my colleague, Robbie.
Hey guys, my name is Robbie Glenn. I am the DevOps capability lead at the Accenture Liquid Studios in Silicon Valley, down in Redwood City, California. And just to give you an idea of the kind of stuff that we do, obviously Accenture is a giant corporation that works for a lot of other giant corporations primarily, and we're working with a lot of non-digital companies, right? So it's a lot of retail, oil and gas, and whatnot, product companies, and they need to, if they want to be around in 50 years or 10 years really, they need to be digital companies, right? So one of the ways that we're trying to grow those businesses and steer those businesses is using initiatives like the Liquid Studio, where we can build out use cases using technologies that are native to the Bay Area, startups, the startup culture, to our larger clients, and to try and bring them into the sort of the 21st century when it comes to app development. So that's kind of what we do. We take things that are cutting edge and try and apply them to our clients. So that's the idea. We're working with AR, VR, so augmented reality, virtual reality. We're working with container technologies. We're working with technologies like IBM Watson and other AI tools. So that's an idea of what I do and what the Liquid Studio does, and I'll let Pavel introduce himself.
Thank you. So my name is Pavel Sorat. I am the Lightweight Architecture Capability Lead in this Liquid Studio, which is our first one in this network of Liquid Studios globally. And it is the largest one and the first one that we launched a year and a half ago. And within my capability, I help the clients to go from an ideation into a production very, very quickly in a basically record time of weeks. And then we utilize our network of other Accenture entities, like the delivery centers, to scale that up. But basically, proof of concept or the MVP is already there. As the last sentence here says, I am a co-founder of OpenSLA, which is a open source conference that I founded back in Slovakia, where I come from, and you are all cordially invited to come in early October to Central Europe to experience a completely different culture, but yet so similar to what I experience here in Silicon Valley. The Accenture as a whole, you might be able to recognize when I guess search for Accenture technology. Then why are we talking about stuff here? I guess it's Twitter. Accenture technology. So guess we had a great time at Jenkins World. So we won the award for scalability achievement, and we have James here who was part of that. It was great to be here, and this is basically the closing talk of this whole fantastic event. In general, at Accenture, as you can see from the scalability award, we run Jenkins in huge masses, so to speak. But that's the delivery part of Accenture. We have many other parts from R&D through the Liquid Studios, through the delivery centers. We operate on this, or we try to operate on this DevOps speed. And the R&D part of Accenture is always looking what's next, right? And we have this thing. I really suggest you to look it up. Maybe just trends, maybe just the names. It's called the Accenture Technology Vision. So Accenture Technology Vision. I think it's quite easy to find. And we publish this globally, and it's open for you. And every year for the past maybe 5 years, this has been available to the public. And every year we have several trends that we think shape the business of our clients for the next 5 years. And I won't be running the video, but this year we have 5 trends. And the first trend is AI is the new UI. And this particular trend talks about how intelligent automation and how artificial intelligence changes the business of our clients. Now, with this, basically, we have several observations from the market and also several predictions. So when we look at the voice apps, right, the gateway to the AI has changed from something you can touch and you can basically, you have to know how to interact with it with your fingers on your mobile phone, to something you have to know how to interact with using voice. It's one way more natural, but then a big challenge for us developers to be able to build such systems. But undeniably, we see AI through the voice UI being more and more in these 3 particular roles more and more prevalent. So it's a curator for you and for the content that you consume. It's an advisor. It can help you do decisions. And then with voice UI's devices and voice UI's agents, it's also an orchestrator. And for us developers, it's a great opportunity, again, to try to use these voice UIs to have orchestrating function. So I think, especially since Amazon rolled out Echo with its Alexa personal assistant, as one of the first ones, have very much gained a considerable market share. Amazon Echo all becomes the spokesperson for your brand and for the brands of your customers, right, or the clients. Apart from the technology vision, we have also a high-profile, world-class UI UX part of Accenture. It's called Fjord, and if you search for Fjord, it should show you what they are talking about, what they are thinking about in terms of how to do voice UI design. So Fjord voice UI, I guess, guide. So if you go and you want to get inspired what our level agency in terms of what design thinks about, how to design for your customers and maybe for yourself. A very good native voice UI interaction. This is the guide that also we've published. So yes, there are many, many more technologies in the UI space. As I said, for the past maybe a little less than 2 years, we have heavily worked with Amazon Echo and its Alexa assistant. So I have some examples I can talk about. I cannot show you these examples, but we've created a local experiences guide where you have Amazon Echo as your concierge, and you ask questions. So what is there fun to do in the neighborhood tonight? And it would help you either find the local experiences or the experiences that the host of the place where you are staying left for you as a recommended ones. We created a connected hotel experience where an Alexa in a hotel room can serve as this. So just back to this one, that was the curator function, right? Then in the orchestration function in the connected hotel experience, it would close the blinds or turn on the lights or order something. We created a pharmacy assistant where you would be able to order medications from an online store, and then just with additional API call, you can even check whether your card contains medications that have interactions. And this API is readily available out on the National Institute of Health webpage. Basically, you can just call it, pass it the names of the medications, and it would go. So it has uses for elderly that maybe cannot really go to a website and try to look at stuff, but have some medications cabinet. We created a skill for connected airline, where you can ask Alexa, when is my flight going? When do I have to leave to make it in time to the airport? Because it calculates also some route times and some waiting times, TSA waiting times. There's an API for that. We created an Accenture Fit app where you can inquire Alexa to help you with your fit metrics and how you fare as a team against another team at our company. And recently, I guess just a few weeks ago, we went into production with Alexa app for an insurance company that was connected basically to their legacy. And that's a huge achievement always when you work with legacy, how to orchestrate that, how to make the relevant data, and pick the flows that make sense in a voice UI environment. So we're very, very proud of that. So in general, to build an Alexa skill, there's a very low barrier, right? There's a learning curve that's very approachable. I had few non-technical friends build their Alexa skills that they control the environment. So quick poll, who has created, so first one, who has an Echo at home? Okay, we have few folks. Who created a skill for Alexa? All right, good. So yeah, trust me on this one, the barrier is really low. You can go, I guess, we can try it. How to build an Alexa skill. And I guess I can build some skills. So there's this lot of things that you can read about it, but maybe steps to build a custom skill. I can design something, and your first Alexa skill. So, okay, too many texts, whatever. This is the device. I can do that stuff. Oh, okay. So, I guess. Example, It's the same thing. I had a really good one.
This is what happens when you go slideless.
So
Sometimes you
that's
can't find
what
what
can happen when it goes slideless. Anyway, in general, there are guides on the web how to create a skill very quickly, and the problem with that is that you are working with these precious little text boxes everywhere. So you have to try to go around the whole development process, saying that, okay, I have to save my stuff here, and that's where it stays. So what we had happen on a shared developer account is that suddenly someone deleted our skills from the Alexia developer page, and the skills were gone. And then you realize that, oh, so I didn't have it saved. I cannot really go back. If you change anything in these windows, similarly to, I guess, at least a few years ago, if you changed anything in these precious little boxes in Jenkins, then there's like no way back. You have to be saved in a text file or something. So we had that happen, and then so there is no version control. Then testing, I guess, coming from just a standard software craftsmanship, you want to have testing that's automated, right? So you don't have to do it manually. After each change, I don't have to talk to the device. So we had that happen, right? We had like, Alexa, where's my skill?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
So that was a challenge. And lastly, we wanted to develop at DevOps speed, right? And that definitely needs a CI/CD tool. And of course, we are a Jenkins world, so we try to use what we are used to from standard web development. So version control would be a version control, probably a Git. Testing, we would try to use Mocha Chai, for example. And for CI/CD, that would be Jenkins. So one more thing with Jenkins, we would like to have the Alexa skills Dockerized, very simply, because that gives us predictability, scalability, and other things. So maybe we'll try this. Alexa, what is Docker?
Docker is a civil parish in the South Lakeland district of the English county of Cumbria.
Okay, that was not helpful, but what is Jenkins? Alexa, what is Jenkins?
A Daimas, the title of a series of albums by British composer Carl Jenkins.
Thank you. So apparently she has also inherently and natively problems with these new DevOps technologies. But I'm leading up to this, but there's a way what we did. So a little tangent. Accenture does open source. We are a large company. I rounded up at half a million, but it's much less than that, 400,000 something. And we definitely have a GitHub page. So GitHub blog, maybe? If I search for that, oh, okay, there is one. So Accenture GitHub blog. So I guess this one. All right. So Accenture does open source.
Yeah. So and we've seen actually a talk actually by our colleague James in the second row here about ADOP, which is Accenture's DevOps platform, is open source technology built on many tools. A lot of it is Jenkins DSL plugin based. So it's very easy to source control, and the way that I like to say it is Jenkins all the way down. It's Jenkins building Jenkins jobs. It's Jenkins building environments. and ultimately a pipeline that can work with that, with the press of a few buttons. All of it is, of course, configurable and source controlled. So it's a really great tool. It's like I mentioned, it's open sourced. We have a closed source version as well, an enterprise version, but the community edition is located at GitHub/Accenture/ I believe ADOP. It might be ADOP Docker Compose. Yeah. So I encourage you to check that out. Feel free to make some pull requests. We'll see, what we can do with that. We want to make it a true open source project. So alongside that, we have another open source project, Alexia, and I'll let Pavel tell you a little bit about that.
Okay, I'll let Google tell you about that. So Alexia definition. So it's the inability to see words or to read. So when we started working with Alexa in general, we found the challenges I just described, and we decided to do something about it. So we open sourced this library called Alexia, which defines itself as a perfect way of how to help building Node.js skills for Amazon Echo, for Alexa. So in general, when we try to use any kind of a Node.js approach to building Alexa skills, we found that you need 80 lines of code to build a hello world at the time using Amazon provided code. And this is all you need to start the hello world using Alexia library. It's open source. We are accepting pull requests in case you want to try it out. But it works both as a happy web server or on Lambda. It's easy to install standard tools that we are all used to, npm, and I'll do a little bit dabbing into the terminology, and then we'll move on to the live demo. So in Alexa, you have Alexa app, so you invoke it somehow. And this is what you build, right? You build an Alexa app. So you want Alexa start Jenkins world, I guess. And in there, you can say one of the utterances that will be mapped to an intent. So that utterance can be, hi, hello, how are you? And the intent would be a greeting, right? And then there is a variable part that can be different every time. So hi, Robbie, hi, Pavel. And that would be something that would be stored possibly in a session as a session attribute that is throughout the session as you work with the app. And then you have cards that are displayed. And there's much more coming with different Alexa apps and devices coming out. For example, Echo Show, or the one that gives you recommendation about how you look. Yeah. So yeah, I hope we look great today. I definitely chose my squeaky t-shirt, so in case Alexa would recognize that, I would hope she would give me thumbs up. So with that, Robbie, please, the demo.
Sure. So let's, Alexa, start a timer for 20 minutes. I'm going to do some live
20 minutes,
coding.
starting now.
We'll see how it works. So I have an app up. I'm on Chrome because I don't know how to use other browsers. And so I have some of these apps skills that I'm developing. One of them I'm calling Hello. So we have this working. So Alexa, start Jenkins world.
Welcome to my Hello World app. Say a greeting.
Hello.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
So we're in the starting state. We have nothing. So let's look at the code here. So as Pavel mentioned, this is a Node framework or library that we've built. And so we're going to actually, it's launched, as he mentioned. We're using Happy. you can launch this in Lambda, but because we want to be able to source control this, we are going to launch this on our own server. So ignore some of this. This is all happy.js, but it's pretty standard boilerplate. The meat of this presentation is here. So as you can see, I pull in Alexia, I create an app, and I set some things. So basically, I set a non-start, which is going to override the general, like, welcome or whatever it says. So I can return something else, and it, as you heard, said that. I can actually stop it now. Alexa, start Jenkins world.
Welcome to my Hello World app. Say a greeting.
Stop.
Goodbye.
So she recognizes the stop command, which is a default command in Alexa, and I will play the text goodbye. You can see that I pulled this out as an object because I'm going to be using it later, so I don't want to duplicate a bunch of code. So anyway, she says goodbye, and then it actually ends the session. So this is a little bit cryptic here, but this is saying that it's going to end the current session. So that's why she stopped there. But we want some, interesting things to happen instead of just stopping or failing, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an intent. I'm going to call it hello intent. And it's going to have a pattern of hello, so it'll be listening for that. And a little handler function. And all that's going to do is return hello, friend. Okay. And, actually, yeah, let's go with that. So, so what do I do with this now? I want to get it up into source control. I want to have somebody deploy it for me. I'm very lazy, so I don't want to have to do it myself. I don't want to SSH into anywhere. So, so we actually have a you might recognize this. This is a CloudBees instance that we have that I have to log into, of course. So we have a very simple pipeline. It's going to build a Docker container, which you can't see. Okay. It's going to build a Docker container. It's going to push it up to a registry, and then it's going to kick off a deploy, which is going to SSH into a machine and launch our app. So let's look at what this does very, very quickly, because I don't have a whole lot of time to just mess around in Jenkins configurations. But basically, all I'm doing is running Docker build, logging in, pushing it up, kicking off the deploy. The deploy is going to SSH in, right? Pull it down, run it with some environment variables maybe. So I don't need to show you all of that. Get status. I've made some changes. I always get diff because I'm a good developer, right? Git commit. Adding an intent. And I have a git hook. So once it pushes it up, it should start this. It may take a few seconds to get the executor a little warmed up. I should have warmed it up beforehand. But so yeah, so once it builds, it should be very quick. As you can see, the last few durations were 12, 17 seconds, so around 15 seconds to build and push this thing. Once it's up, come on. But the idea is, let me go back to here. The idea is that, and actually I left some intents so that I don't have to add them in later. But we have some configuration, right, which actually will be, I'll show you how to generate that using our app. And the idea here is that we can add in these utterances. It will pick it up using pattern matching and send it to our application. So what I'm actually going to do is run this locally. Let me build. Okay. I'm going to build the package locally or the image locally. I'm going to run it, and I'll show you why in a second. Docker PS, I probably left a bunch of them open, yep. Okay, so I'm going to look at the latest one, Docker logs. And the reason I want to show you that is it actually puts out the things that you would put into the developer portal. So it actually generates your intent schema, it generates your sample utterances, perhaps, and whatnot. So this is one way that you can match whatever your app is expecting with the actual model. So let's see if that got built. Last success.
Yeah, and if Amazon is listening, would very much like an API for that, so you don't have to copy and paste it into these boxes. But as soon as that's out, basically you can have fully automated process because the generation is there.
Yeah, thank you. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good.
They said they're working on it for those on the web. Okay, so let's see if that works now. Alexa, start Jenkins World.
Welcome to my Hello World app. Say a greeting.
Hello.
Hello, friend.
Hooray. Okay.
Stop.
What's going to happen?
Goodbye.
All right. Okay, cool. So, she added the new intent. It took, 30 seconds to push it up. And we can use it immediately. There's no even, downtime or anything like that. I mean, there is, but you don't notice it. It's very, very quick. So what I want to do is add a few more things. So actually, before I do anything else, just so that, I don't have any extra code here or anything. Alexa, start Jenkins World.
Welcome to my Hello World app. Say a greeting.
I am Robbie.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
So what I'm going to do is actually get rid of a bunch of stuff and hopefully I have a bunch of stuff saved because I don't have a whole lot of time. So let's look at what we're doing here. So I have a bunch of things that actually I am duplicating code, aren't I? So I have a number of intents now. I have hi, hello, yo. So I would be able to invoke the greeting with any of those commands. It's not going to recognize any other commands, hola, something like that, but it will respond appropriately with these. And I actually have something where maybe I want to handle something more like a variable, right? So what that's referred to in Alexa's skill world is a slot. And so we created a custom slot, which I'm calling name. And I'm giving it a few names, myself, Pavel, and Batman. And then I'm going to handle based on a match, a pattern match against I am, and then one of those slots is going to return, it's going to greet me with hi, that name, and it should actually pick up in the cards. I'll tell you about that in a minute. This is another concept from Alexa. And I'm going to add some other intents for actually closing it out. So I'm going to add a bye intent, goodbye later. So I can actually, instead of just saying stop to stop the program, I can say something like goodbye, and she'll say goodbye and stop listening to me. So I'm going to save this. Actually, any questions about this? I know I didn't explain the card thing, but I can go back to that in a minute. I'm going to save this. Looks about what I expect. And maybe it'll be warm this time and much quicker to run. But it's gonna be impossible. Okay, so there's this concept of cards in Alexia 2, and it's really useful, especially for development, because what it does is it's going to tell you what it heard and tell you what it responded with in some way, right? So, for example, you can give it more information, right? So I might actually be interested in, I just copied literally what I put up, what it's going to respond with in words, but I could have put some custom thing or maybe additional information, and that would show up here. So she recorded that I set a timer, that I had a failed response, that I had another failed response. So let's see. So anyway, so next time I invoke an utterance that comes with a card, we should see that new custom card show up. Let's see where we are. Cool. Oh, it's in the middle of deploying. Should take just a few more seconds. Cool. All right, let's see. Alexa, start Jenkins World.
Welcome to my Hello World app. Say a greeting.
Hi.
Hello, friend.
Yo.
Hello, friend.
I am Robbie.
Hi, Robbie.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So, with a few lines of JavaScript, a lot of them were one-line code, one-liners, essentially, just returning what you want her to, right? We can create an app very quickly and start playing with Alexa, within an hour. And actually, I should mention that that when we've been very busy this week. This is actually the last day of our fiscal year, so a lot of mad rush going on. And actually, this was a great opportunity for us to test how quickly it is to create these kind of applications. I had nothing at the beginning of today, and so it was a mad rush. You may have seen me out in the hall, typing furiously on my computer. I had nothing at the beginning of the day. So actually, I had infrastructure, thank God, because that can be its own nightmare, but I set that up yesterday. But anyway, so the point is, 0 to something in a few hours using the Alexia library.
And then there is an Alexia starter kit on GitHub, just next to the Alexia open source library. So I guess if we go back and search for Alexia, then you can just go and clone the starter kit and go from there.
Yeah.
And then again, we welcome pull requests and happy to see what happens. The last disclaimer is that we are aware of the Alexa Skills Kit SDK for Node.js, and I think that the two libraries are just different, and this is our approach. So hopefully you get to try both and see which one do you like more. Thank you very much, and I guess questions. Okay, Alexa, play applause.
I didn't find applause in your library, but it's available with Amazon Music Unlimited. Would you like to learn more?
No.
Okay, you can sign up anytime by saying, sign up for Amazon Music Unlimited.
Right.
Here's a sample of applause.
Oh, come on. All right, that's